Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This one is a little bit weird because it is combining two of my favourite things and seeing how they benefit each other. One, obviously, is writing. The other is D&D. Put them together and what have you got? A balance. Let it be known that I have never been a DM for a D&D campaign. However, I have been playing D&D as a character for about 5 or so years now. Me and my group, we get together once a week where my partner is the DM and he keeps track of us all, tries to keep us out of trouble, and we in turn drive him to drink. So we've done a couple of campaigns with classic D&D. The current one that we're doing at the moment is Tomb of Annihilation, which is so friggin' difficult. Oh my god. We tried a Power Rangers one, which didn't last very long. We did a Dresden Files campaign, which lasted a good 2 years or so, and that one was probably one of my favourites. We tried to do a Suicide Squad style, where we were bad guy heroes. Bad guy heroes, there we go. Bad guy super villains that have been caught and are then being forced to do good things for the government, that kind of thing. There are so many different kinds that you can do, and I've found that it has actually improved my writing in a lot of ways. Now, I am mostly saying this from a player's perspective. I think that if I was a DM, I would have so much more to give on the topic, but alas, I do not have the confidence to be a DM. I am a big introvert, and the idea of being in charge of a group of people terrifies me. But Amy Scribbler, don't you work in a nursery where you're in charge of a group of toddlers every day? Well, yes, I am, but toddlers are very different because if they're having tantrums and if they're doing something wrong, then you can just pick them up and say no, and they listen. 9 times out of 10. We do have a few difficult ones, but there's some in every group. There are still ways to get around it. Grown adults do not work the same way as toddlers, and that terrifies me. But as I said, it is my partner who is the DM, and I've seen, obviously he never gives me spoilers. I never get special treatment because my partner's the DM. I do see how he world builds. So he does have the Tomb of Annihilation guidebook for this campaign. So when it comes to locations and politics and who's in charge, that kind of thing, it is all laid out for him. But you do have to take into account that it does not mean shit if the characters don't interact with any of that stuff. The amount of world building and story planning and potential for character development that is included in D&D is insane. And I'm looking at it thinking, how do you have this brain power to build an entire world, keep track of so many different people and so many different governments, and try to account for their actions and this whole cause and effect to push the story along, develop characters along the way, have them learn new abilities, and try to keep everybody alive? How do you do it? And then it clicked in my head, Amy, you're doing the exact same thing, but all you're doing that's different is sitting in front of your blinking laptop and writing it instead of controlling it. Pillow, don't push me right now. D&D does help you with your writing because it pushes this idea of world building, character management, and all that good stuff into a whole new interactive level because everything actually is happening in the here and now. You do have to do on-the-spot decisions, on-the-spot alterations, and sometimes that happens with your writing. You can have a fully planned out story / campaign, but if something changes or something in your head doesn't quite make sense, you have to suddenly account for that and change it so it does make sense, so that the narrative does flow properly. And it's the same. It is this balance. It is exactly the same. The only difference is, on one hand, you're sitting in a chair talking to a bunch of people, trying to make on-the-spot changes that benefit them or make things worse for them, depending. The other one, you're just typing and the exact same thing is happening. Even from a character's perspective, now I have played a few different characters, all quite different. The one that I loved the most was probably from the Dresden Files campaign. She was more of the detective style of character. Very curious, very nosy, didn't really like a lot of conflict and just kind of went with the flow, but always with that inquisitive nosiness in mind. The character I'm playing now is full-on chaotic neutral, does not give a damn about anybody, and does what they want when they want. Both very fun characters, both very different. But for every single character you're playing, you do have to think of their name, their appearance, their background, why they would go on a story like this, what their fears are, what their goals are, what they want out of life, how they could react to this kind of person, how they'll react when they meet person B. And that's exactly the same when you're building a cast for your story. It's kind of tricky in the way that when you're writing a story, you're managing an entire group of people and trying to find development for all of them. Whereas when you're in D&D, you are just playing one character, but a character that is 9 times out of 10 very different from yourself. And I love that. It pushes you out of your comfort zone, much like writing does. You have to take into account every little thing a character might do or might say and how that will affect others and how it will push the story forward. Whether you're playing one character or writing multiple, it is still the same thing. Also, D&D really has to take into account the idea of time management. How much time a task is going to take and how much time the characters have left. There is so much to manage in that, and you do have to take into account the days that pass, the resources they need to continue, and how much longer they'll need to reach their goal. Much like when you're planning out your story, you don't want everything to happen in a day. You don't want your readers to be there thinking, well, they haven't gone to sleep in about 30 chapters, so is this all happening in the space of an afternoon? Because at one point it was winter, but now they're at the beach, so has months gone by? We don't know. You have to take into account time management and how the series of events are progressing from one scene to the next. I don't know, I could go on so much more of a tangent, but the idea of world building and insane character development and learning how to manage different character voices, it really... D&D just has this effect of pulling you out of your own skin, having this fantasy escapism that you actually have a hand in. It is a very immersive thrill that just lets you not be yourself for a while. And it's a very similar thrill I get when I'm really in the midst of a writing inspiration mode. When I am not myself, I am being someone completely different, or I am being someone who has a similar trait to me but has had a background that I can't even imagine living through. It's just, it pulls you out of your own skin and lets you build this world and build these characters that have such distinctive voices and distinctive tones, and you learn how to manage it. Would I still be writing if I didn't play D&D? Yes, because I've been writing since I was about 12, 13 years old, something like that, and I have wanted to be a writer all of my life. I have only been playing D&D for the past 5 years or so. But has D&D benefited my writing? Definitely. I learn how to make stronger characters, I learn how to world manage a lot better than I did before, and whereas when I first started out I didn't really pay much attention to the passing of time or how long one event was going to take compared to another, it was all very much a jumble. But now, seeing that, you know, believe it or not, the days do go by pretty damn quickly, you can only do so much in one day, and learning that and actually experiencing it through roleplay has really helped out with my writing, because now I am pacing myself at a much more smoother rate for the narrative to make sense. Also, D&D provides a lot of inspiration. I was a bard in my last campaign, so bardic inspiration for all. Because there are so many different characters and so many different plot lines, different worlds, different situations, and because D&D is so easily accessible and so easily manipulated to make your own set of rules and to make your own consequences and build your own world, much like writing, just saying. It allows you to take certain bits and pieces, really make it your own, and you do have the potential to turn that into any story you can imagine, both for a campaign and for writing. There have been many books published where people have taken note of every single thing that happens in their D&D campaign and have actually written it into a novel. And if that's not inspiring enough, I don't know what is. Is D&D still nerdy? Hell yeah. Is it still a lot of fun? Definitely. Does it still help with writing when it comes to character development and building, world building and management, learning how to handle time properly, learning good pacing for a narrative? Yes. God, yes it does. Will I be turning any of my campaigns into a story? Probably not. And that is simply because it's much too chaotic for me. But am I learning things from D&D that I am then incorporating into my story? Yes, I am. It has really helped with my planning process, it has really helped with my construction process, and all in all, I do feel like my writing is stronger since playing D&D. Am I telling every writer out there, you should go and play D&D right now? No, I'm not. I am fully aware that it is not for everybody, and that is completely okay. A lot of people like sports. Sports isn't for me. That's completely okay. A lot of people don't like video gaming. That's fine. Personally, I love video gaming, but everyone is different. But I do recommend trying it at least once. If you don't like it, that's fine. But for a lot of people, it can really help. There are online groups you can find, there are societies that meet up on a regular basis. Even just get some of your friends together and download a free campaign online to give a go. It is worth it. I'm going to end this video here. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if any of you play D&D, what kind of characters you've been. I'd love to hear your stories, and let me know if it has benefited your writing in any way. It has definitely benefited mine. I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you're having an amazing writing experience, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye, my scribblers.